Hey everybody, welcome to Earth Revolution. I'm your host Susan Shan, and we are the home of the green scene in Nashville, Tennessee. With me tonight is a very special guest, Dr. Neil Seldman. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
It is really an honor to have you on. Dr. Seldman is the president of an organization called Institute for Local Self-Reliance, and they are based out of Washington, D.C.
Yes.
And have several offices in the country. And he is visiting here in Nashville. He's going to be a guest speaker at an event tonight at the time of this shooting for an organization in town also. And Neil, tell me a little bit about what you're doing here tonight.
Yeah, this is the second in a series of many trips I'll be coming down. I work for an organization called BURNT, which is a 20-year-old volunteer environmental community group. Right. Tonight is their 20th anniversary, and I'll be participating in their celebration. And I'm very attracted to this group because of their accomplishments, shutting down incinerators, rendering plants, hazardous waste plants, which were all downtown Nashville. And my estimate is that they've created about $1 billion worth of real estate value by getting rid of these very obnoxious facilities. And now they're replaced by much nicer facilities. Right. So I will be coming back. BURNT is focused on legislative reform of solid waste management, which the state is addressing at this point. So I come down on a regular basis working with BURNT, meeting with public officials. We'll be talking to the mayor, Mayor Dean, December 18th, which is next week.
Wow, great.
So I'm learning a lot about Nashville. Yeah,
and solid waste and recycling are areas of expertise for you. You pretty much go around the country
That's
speaking
correct.
to a whole variety of community organizations and local governments about these issues.
And businesses. We're working in about 22 cities now. We work in just about every aspect of the recycling industry, from mattresses to tires to construction and demolition debris, which is a major issue down here in Nashville.
That's what I want to ask you.
Sure.
Can you tell our viewers, what do you see as the main, I guess the expression is low-hanging fruit, the main priorities of things that we can change here in Nashville?
That's very accurate. And I would say that construction and demolition waste, or C&D in the trade, is the lowest and the most voluminous low-hanging fruit that you have. And right now, it goes into your landfills. In fact, for reasons I can't explain and are very counterintuitive, construction and demolition waste that goes into your landfills in Tennessee count as recycling. I don't know why.
How can it go into a landfill and still be considered recycling? Isn't that?
I'm planning on asking some questions.
It is counterintuitive, as you said. That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense because C&D material is easy to recycle. In fact, the state of Massachusetts has banned all disposal of C&D waste because it is so easy to recycle. Right. And companies are investing in recycling the wood, the aggregate, asphalt, cinder block bricks, etc. So that is the lowest hanging fruit. And I would say if you're talking about, if Tennessee were to ban C&D from landfills, you're talking about creating more profits for industry. You're talking about creating hundreds of jobs, and with more businesses
to
and more
remanufacture some of these
to process and remanufacture, and you're talking about expanding your tax base because workers pay taxes and businesses pay taxes on their profits, and businesses and workers buy things and stimulate the economy.
In a time when we desperately need that as well.
And not only that, but with the new administration coming in with a pledge of 2 million new jobs, most of them green, and most of them in the infrastructure area. Solid waste management is infrastructure, so the state, if they move in the right direction to turn dirty jobs of landfilling and incineration into green jobs of recycling and processing and manufacturing, you could attract hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars to your state to create these green jobs. And one of the reasons we're anticipating with great pleasure in talking to Mayor Dean is that he is committed to greening the city. In fact, he wants Nashville to be a showcase for green activity throughout the South. Yeah. Which we applaud, certainly.
Oh, me too. I'm so excited about that. I just love the fact that he is investing a lot of energy into that area, and also has formed what he calls the Green Ribbon Committee, which is a
Yes, I like that. It replaces the blue. I think that's quite clever. I like that.
Yeah, and they've been holding public meetings, forums for dialogue where people can come and share their ideas as what they see as important, like mass transit was big for a lot of people.
Sure.
Of course, and recycling was a big issue, and education is always an issue.
Yep.
You know, educating not just our children, but community outreach, teaching people how to be energy conservative in their homes.
Yeah. One other thing I'd like to point out to your viewers is that recycling and economic development based on recycling and composting is not a partisan issue. It's not a Republican issue, it's not a Democratic issue, and so on. It answers everybody's agenda.
It's an economic bottom line
Exactly.
issue.
Everybody wants the economy to expand, everybody wants more workers, less pollution. It is not a controversial issue.
Right.
Now, there are vested interests and old ways of thinking which are barriers to recycling, but it's not based on whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or a liberal or a conservative.
Yeah, that's more just a mindset of, well, this is the way we've always done things, and
yes, entrenched ways of thinking,
and to a whole new.
And the real opportunity is that with a little tweaking of the laws, like Massachusetts are banning it, and I must say they didn't ban it overnight. You have to ban with a plan. You have to ban it, let's say, in year 1 and have the ban take effect year 3, so industry has a way to react to the new situation.
And support the incoming
The state of
materials.
Minnesota a couple of years ago banned electronic waste from the landfill, but they didn't have any place else to do, what else to do with it, so it wound up on rural roads. So if you ban without a plan, you're in trouble.
So you have to create that infrastructure for people to reclaim those materials. And in the case of electronics, I know we talked earlier about they have to be broken apart into their
Yes, if you hand dismantle computers, for example, you get much more value than if you shred them and just recover the metals because you have working parts.
Right.
Also, there are, for example, 8 different alloys of aluminum in a computer. If you keep them separate, you'll get top dollar. If you mix them together, you'll get a much lower price.
Right.
The other thing I want to point out about Nashville, as I'm learning more and more, is that in Nashville you have C&D recyclers right within 10 or 15 miles of the city. So it's not a foreign idea, it just needs to be expanded. And new legislation which will incentivize people recycling this material will lead to many, many jobs and a lot of raw materials for you to use or sell to other states.
Yeah, huge opportunities. Once again, a total win-win situation
Absolutely.
pretty much for everybody involved, including the developers, the construction
Absolutely.
firms, because they will save money.
Absolutely. Their costs of getting rid of construction and demolition waste will be reduced, which will add profits to them and green their projects. For example, your audience may know about LEED certification for building buildings. Well, the first step in a green building is deconstruction and reuse of C&D materials. So it fits into everything that is common sense, but also good for the economy and the environment.
Yeah, makes perfect sense, Neil. Do we have time? I wanted to find out just really quickly. Construction and demolition debris is number 1. We were talking about electronic appliances.
Yes.
What are some of the other main areas quickly?
Organic material. 50% of the waste stream is food, yard debris, and soiled papers, pizza boxes with grease on them.
Which can easily be diverted.
Absolutely. And not only that, but those materials plus animal manure are a perfect recipe for what we call black gold, beautiful topsoil. It's worth $95 a ton.
Wow.
Also,
it's
not only
there.
not only 50% of your waste stream, but you can't move it very far, so it means it's going to be for local use. And that means people who use it will save energy, will save water, will reduce their pesticides, and get better crops.
Now we have a mulching facility, but I'm not sure if we have like community-wide composting facilities.
Yeah, mulching is a good step, but mulch might be worth $20 a ton. Compost is worth $100 or $95 to $100 a ton. So by cleaning up your material, keeping things separate, you're adding value to your raw materials. And that's the key. Mix everything together. You have garbage, and you have to pay someone to take it away and dump it someplace. If you keep it separate, you're a mine. The city becomes a mine of raw materials.
A gold mine.
You're a gold mine, a silver
potential gold
mine.
mine of profit for the city in a time when we really need additional funding coming in because we're in a deficit. Okay, folks, we are out of time. I am here with Neil Seldman, president of the Institute for Local Self-Reliance. It's a great website. Go on there and check it out. Just a ton of information on what people can do within their cities to green the city and bring in more solid waste and recycling infrastructure. I'm Susan Chan, your host for Earth Revolution. Thanks, peace, love, and recycling. We'll see you next time.